This video is not intended for any person under the age of 13 and is best enjoyed if you've either cleared Endwalker up to best of the best or you don't care about spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, Stake Driven here. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Let's kick this pig. Last time we had a very wholesome scene with some of our fellow Scions, and we had a very creepy scene with Daniel and Xenos. Let's see what we're getting into next. Kryl and Grahatia, we're having a pleasant conversation until you barged in.
If you guys are trying to start a romance, don't let me stop you.
Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope.
Yeah, I haven't partied like that in years. Thanks, guys.
I was about to make my way to the studium, as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with Scholark Champagne to thank him for coming to our rescue in Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find out we'd departed for Thanvir. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his fallen students.
Wait, he's a cow?
We're still waiting for your stall and the others. Yeah, I'll join you. Oh, look at that. We're treated to a short little thing where it's like Alfie's actually practicing. But we gotta talk to Allie to move the plot forward. Heading out for a stroll.
Actually, I'm going to the studium.
The Skolark himself was there. In that case, what are we waiting for?
The Oyster Freeze, I guess.
I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studium. I dare notoriety precedes us. Alfino, of all people, worrying over his reputation, and at our alma mater no less. Will wonders never cease?
God, I hope not, because I want this game to keep going.
You'll understand soon enough. Off we go.
Alright, let's meet them.
Alright, the gang's all here. Well, at least the ones that are chilling with us locally.
Oh yeah, probably is. For the best that I didn't go with your Stola, we'd probably get distracted.
Here it is, Phenomenon. While I expect you to have made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct?
Yeah, I tuned to the ether right before.
It's music. While most of the space is taken up by expansive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. As the center of what would later become the studium, it was established to promote the study of aetherological phenomenon, hence the name. Though with aether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself.
42.
And then in the 432nd year of the 6th Astral Era, Phenomenon was decreed complete and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in aetherology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Sharlyan's foremost educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students.
Oh, wait, am I a student now?
Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech, such is his undying love for his old stamping ground. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts, aetherology, and undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on. You both joined the studium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alfino actually entered half a year before me. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors, and I'm certainly not the studium's most decorous...
GAME! I need a sec.
Okay, I think I'm good now. Game! Notorious Master Really, game? Okay, I'm good now.
Okay.
In all respects, I have ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alfino Leveilleur began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully, we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were the last time. Or at the last stand, I mean. I know better than anyone the adoration of the student body has for Alfino, and with a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage.
Okie doke. And maybe we'll get invited to some parties.
Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, okay, we gotta find Scholark. I have trouble with that word. With Montechain. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but he's gonna wander around, so we'll have to find him. Let's split up and ask the students if we've seen him.
Yay! Let's talk to 3 random people again. Yay!
That was Alfino Levier, the Alfino Levier. He's the sister of Mesopotamian's granddaughter. That can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word! Spread the word! Oh, you're looking for the Scholark? Yes. Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Aliapo? Any relation to Zloey and Precious Babby Mooncat? Are you lost? Wander off in the streets, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I?
No.
Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is in order. Ahem, allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What's the most important thing you'll find in the studium? That's right, books. And what's second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else. That's what we deal with here at the Searcher's Meet. Whenever students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. We don't have it in our stores. We send gleaners off to find it. Or sorry, if. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Eye of Pisa this, Tongue of Gigantoad that. It's set up to make your head stand on end, which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this school being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding.
The only thing I'm interested in is gleaning information about the Scholark's whereabouts.
I beg your pudding? You're not a gleaner? Then this was all an elaborate ruse? No, wait, come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake.
Again, are you related to...
But he was here, but now he's not. I did speak to him before you arrived. He said he was on his way to Maker's Meet.
Okay.
Yeah, fangs and normal eyes, yep. Go back the way you came, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
But are you related to Chloe and Zoe? Zloey?
Ah, I remember you.
In the mountains.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Yeah, you saved our bacon, maybe, possibly.
Well, I could hardly let that Inquisition go unchallenged.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation.
I
if
thought the
any
vote
at
went
all.
against us.
Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galef and Louisois in a less dour setting. But it seems
Galef?
I just missed you.
No.
I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye.
To be fair, they're wearing platform sneakers.
You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student.
Sir, I'm gonna make one thing perfectly clear. I don't put up with Matoya's prize student. I'm in love with her.
Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
If I can think of anything. It happens sometimes, and I think of things sometimes. I do.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried.
Are you Giost?
Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic.
Seems kind of important, don't you think?
As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
Well, you cast a frickin' enchantment on people.
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat.
Is there gonna be homework? Are we actually gonna sit at the desks? Oh, yes we are. That's great. This is gonna be the source of so many memes, I can tell already.
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of aetherology.
Now, Stola tried teaching me this
The
stuff.
ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into 3 forms. 2 are of the incorporeal sort, the soul, and the memory. Can anyone tell me the 3rd?
Oh, that one's easy. The physical, right? Corporeal.
Yes, very good.
Like I said, I spend a lot of time.
This is the form with
With
which the layman
Stola.
is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux.
I didn't realize this was going to be such an
In contrast,
exposition.
the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked.
Nice. You can animate a pen and just... Oh, this is
Picture
gonna be
the
source of
soul
so
as
many
paper,
memes.
and memories as words written upon it.
This is gonna... I can tell you that right
Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
You wouldn't be able to read it, it'd turn black.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well.
So if I forgot
In
to...
fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
I don't know, but if I forgot how to use my sword, I might forget how to breathe.
The 7th Umbral Calamity.
That.
The
Oh, when
people of
everybody forgot
Eorzea
about the
vividly
warriors!
recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm.
Right, they forgot about the Warriors of Light because of that.
But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlyan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation.
So in other words, it's extremely hippopotamus.
Hypocritical.
That too!
Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process.
Wow.
A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace.
Yeah, but what about the word of the other 98?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
Good question.
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty.
Could Allie use Angelo to reverse the process?
Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea.
When y'all die.
For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean.
Like so much dirty laundry.
And our memories drift apart and dissolve. Rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world.
So it's not like
Reborn
100%.
into another form.
So they don't even
Both
know.
theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable.
Oh.
I want to draw.
Well, I think that's enough education for today. Now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
Sir, my mind is blown. Well, thanks, Teach.
Higgidus, figidus, megadus, smoke, prestidigitonium.
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlyan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
Thanks, Professor.
Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the Forum's true motives and the mysteries of life itself, for good measure.
Life, the universe, everything.
It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the annex.
Okay, let's go.
Here we go. Ah, welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the studium proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from my fellow Scions. Oh, great. As expected, news of the Warding Scale was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company and Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possessions to Lisa Limsalomins. Darn you! You know who! So, the time has come for us to go on the offensive. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. Any way the wind blows. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let's see what awaits us in Vilbrand.
Okay.
Then start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, will you, Astinian?
Why me?
Phew! I didn't realize these crates were so heavy.
They're like twice your size and maybe 8 times your weight.
I shouldn't complain, though. Vitra and the alchemists of the great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with utmost care.
Of course.
Are you not coming with us? As much as I'd love to escape the Forum's watchful gaze, I've little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consulting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how far that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies.
Okay.
With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn. I can feel it. Tulim Salaminsa! Na na na! My apologies for calling you away from Sharlyan with such short notice. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. 'Twas only right this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it is only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It's reassuring to learn that we are in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to use their potential to the fullest. During your time in Sharlyan, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abductions of kobolds, Sahagin, Ixil, and Ananta have given rise to increasing numbers of primals as well. But your triumph in Razadhan has given us cause to hope once again. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace. And it is you, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telefari at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlean. These brave few will be the Isilbard contingent.
I'm going, right?
To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlean. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Telfari's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our sole duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that, there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, on that we can agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe the smallest spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway. Though the same could be said of the Telfari, there's certainly no rush to push further into our lands. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Ishtola's analysis of the Tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Zot, the Spires siphon aether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the largest spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's the spirit. Well, that's all well and good. But what would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over scales or being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard contingent. Yay! Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept?
Yes!
Perhaps you should be the one to answer that.
You didn't have to ask me twice. For honor and glory. For those we have lost and those we can yet save also.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Ishtola, Thancred, and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent.
All right.
They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct.
Oh, they're gonna need my help.
Once you've delivered the warding scales to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Isilbard. Raoban and Emmerich are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival. Oh, we get to see Broban! Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Telfarai so much as dross steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge that Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Well, it's good that these guys are doing stuff. Like, they're not just depending on us for damn near everything. They're actually doing stuff. As soon as you talk to Broban.
Ah, the Wanderer's return. You've been busy, bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what made this whole venture possible.
Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we've seen you off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the forming of the Isilbrand contingent.
Hold on. Got way too hot in here. Alright, there was a lot of opposition to this contingent. They didn't like the idea of sending troops deep into Garlemald.
Can't please them all. This music is so great. Sadly, not though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd rather be at your side. Charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than my blade.
Because you're a commander, right?
I hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own.
Hey, where's Lise?
For the time being, the best we can offer you is peace of mind, knowing that Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Isilbard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince naysayers that our cause is just.
Thank you, both of you.
We meet again. Is it Edgeworth? Oh, no, it's, frickin', Gaius. Much devastation. Much has occurred since we parted ways in Wurlet. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side.
So, you're not coming with us? Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this.
I do. The Telfarai have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Isambard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complementing the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. I understand. Wordlet is in your hands. And I will defend it to my dying breath. After the sacrifices my sons and daughters made, I can do no less. Yeah, that was rough. And I and the government of Wordlet intend to offer refuge to those fleeing Garlemald. Should that time come, we will be ready. Alright. I kicked your ass once, so if you try to betray us, I'll do it again. In light of Guy's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Oh, this is that defector from way back when. Yeah. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. And if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. Alright, as soon as we talk to the Resistance Guard, as usual, we are treated to
By the 12.
Holy cow. There's Lise. Hold on, do I recognize that guy? Who's that guy? I don't recognize most of these people at all.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
Hey, guys.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose.
I got a bad feeling about this.
We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Isambard contingent.
Indeed, which is
Lucia!
why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end.
It's awesome.
We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall.
Wonderful.
Together.
Together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
I agree.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company.
Alright.
Everyone! If I may have your attention.
Is it gonna be a big fat roll call? Sorry, turn this. Hi, Lise! Oh, it's, Sumi sent. Oh, God, he's one of the Pajal. Because if some emotional ass shit happens, I want my face to be able to.
Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must.
Arun, that's his name.
I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer, we shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort. Of course, with an experienced white mage such as yourself accompanying us as well, those requiring more involved treatment will be in safe hands. Raya O sends her regards, by the way.
Oh, right back at you, pal.
Is that dialogue that I only got
Suppose
because
I'd better say my piece.
Sick of it. Who is this guy?
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hillfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me.
Sicard.
Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship.
I wonder if that was extra dialogue that's
So if
only
the
there.
Admiral wants us to go to Garlean, not for plunder and glory, but a promise of peace in our time,
Nice.
then that's what we'll do.
I have White Mage at 80, and also Red Mage, frickin' Samurai. I'm wondering if that's special dialogue because of that.
Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy.
I'm guessing this is going to be the way we get our best gear.
Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive
Pippin!
purpose
Oh,
in
that's
mind.
where you were hiding.
But we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we.
Sparring session, Lise?
The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest.
Great.
If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow.
Got a
That's
bad
where we
feeling
come
about
in.
this.
Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya? The Avatar of Destruction?
If you two want to make out for a while, you know, go for it. I've got to go get some food.
With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us.
Yeah. Nobody fights
And then we
quite
might
like you
finally
do.
get a chance to enjoy a good long rest.
Ah, that'd be
But
great.
until then, let's give it our all.
Wouldn't it be lovely? Again, I've got a bad feeling about this.
As
So
for
many
Ishgard,
deadlines.
we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead.
Nice.
Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon.
It's gonna be a
They
long
will-
episode.
There is another awaiting introduction.
Oh, and Montelier!
Lord Emonelaine!
That too!
Ah, yes. Emonelaine de Forton, at your service.
Oh, God.
Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually.
He's gonna
My
die,
brother,
isn't he?
in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself.
He's gonna
and
die,
fight
isn't
for
he?
world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing,
Hey, I know that
will be
dance.
your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
I dare say, your fancy footwork might be what stands between us and certain doom.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
You're so gonna die. I'm so sorry, dude. Then again, I've been wrong about
I
that.
believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea.
Oh, we don't have anybody from Dome?
Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Is Gosetsu coming?
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Tell me that's who I think it is. Yes, it's her! Ha-ha! Oh, hi, little son.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Fantastic.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
This is great.
For battle and blood we
Sadu.
come, as a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach.
That's rough, buddy.
But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy! Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan Resistance Group, Lente's
Dalmascans.
Tears.
And the Bosnian resistance.
Oh, we got some of those too. Great.
Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald.
He's right.
And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused.
Screw those guys.
Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy.
I know, right? Since like 1.0.
But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all.
Hey, where's
Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland,
What's he up to right
the
now?
Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Gaius bloody Baelsar himself is working to help rebuild Wurlid, a nation he once conquered. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
At least you're throwing up death flags. Ugh, sorry. Damn, she's a great character too. Well, I could be wrong too.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
I'm only right half the damn time with these death flags.
Then we are in accord. Now,
Good.
let us review our strategy.
Okay.
To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range.
Okay.
Fortunately, Garland Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers.
Big glacier?
From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot.
Alright.
We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow...
Oh, bollocks.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Holy cow. This is epic. Alright, in the next one, we're gonna talk to everybody here. We are gonna set the stage. We are gonna go into Garlemald, penetrate deeply into their forces. Next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker.
Fly me to the moon and let me play with all the swords. Then I'm gonna eat chicken nuggies by the score. La